This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. The city of Venice and some residents are concerned about a 10-foot deep ditch, worried someone could drive or walk into it and get seriously hurt.
The ditch runs along Osprey between Laguna Drive and Apalachicola Road on the island of Venice. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo has more on this story. Dwayne.
Well, Haley, the city's discussing two possible solutions from keeping people from falling into this ditch. But some residents on this small street say it's just a case of throwing money into a ditch. This 300-foot-long ditch, initially built by Sarasota County, is now controlled by the city of Venice. It helps alleviate flooding in the area, but after more than a decade, there's a problem.
We did have a discussion at City Council that council had some concerns, so we brought forward the option of closing in the ditch.
A long-term project that can cost the city over $1 million. The city is also looking at putting up a guardrail as another option, costing a little over $53,000. And even though no one has been hurt because of the ditch, the city engineer, Kathleen Whedon, says it still can be considered a hazard.
Well, I think we always look for opportunities to improve the aesthetics and the function of our city infrastructure. So this was an item that was brought forth by City Council to take a look at for doing some upgrades.
But some are not happy with the proposed fix, saying there is no safety concern and it's just a waste of taxpayers' money.
I don't see why the city's concerned, other than a possible problem down in the future. The mayor's talking about $1 million to fill it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
But Whedon says the 8-inch curb is not enough.
Well, pedestrians and bicyclists, the curb doesn't really provide any level of safety for them.
Okay. She also says the city will continue to talk with residents before making a final decision.
So we're having some conversations with our risk analysts, and we're also having some conversations with an outside engineer, and we want to make a well-informed decision, and then we're going to bring that information back to City Council so they can make a final determination.
Now, Whedon says the subject will be posted on the agenda for a future meeting within the next month or two. Back to you.
All right, Dwayne, thank you. It may be months before we know whether or not the Bradenton City Council will bring the red light cameras back. The City Council choosing to not renew its contract with the company Xerox last month and instead put out a request for other companies to bid. There were several reasons behind taking them down from the 7 intersections within city limits. Some council members were frustrated that Xerox chose where to place those cameras. Now there's a delay in whether or not they'll even make a comeback.
We're all acutely aware of is every year in the Florida legislature, somebody brings this up to kill them statewide. I know that New Jersey banned red light cameras statewide, so we could be vetoed at the state level, which would be normal session is in March. I wouldn't see the sense in signing a contract in February when knowing that the Florida legislature can undo it in March. I mean, I think to me it'd be wiser to just go ahead and wait and see what happens in the next session.
Since the cameras were installed back in 2010, citations tripled at those intersections, but accident rates, the city says, remained steady.
A Florida Power and Light project now underway in Venice will likely cause some traffic delays near Calle del Toro alleyway over the next 6 to 8 weeks. The alleyway is adjacent to East Venice Avenue near the US 41 bypass. Starting today, FPL crews will be working on a project to harden the power poles in the area from Grove Street to Seaboard Avenue. The new poles will be better protected from storm damage.
Each year, a survey of Sarasota County citizens is done to determine the biggest issues in our area. But how are those results then used? Well, for the 3rd year in a row, population growth and development came in as the top concern for Sarasota County residents. County Commissioner Paul Caragiulo says striking the balance between economic growth and overdevelopment is something he takes seriously.
There are legitimate challenges, and there are some things that have to be managed so that we don't evolve into a community that is perhaps less desirable.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, we'll find out more about the citizen survey and talk with experts about how to manage responsible growth here on the Suncoast.
Now we're going to head over to Bob, and it's kind of funny that we have fall starting this week, and it really doesn't feel like it.
Summer goes on here for a while longer than most of the country, right, Bob?
I was just thinking, as far as growth goes, if the temperatures were like they were today and the humidity throughout most of the year, I don't think there'd be many people coming down here. But I'll tell you, it was hot today. Heat index up near 100 degrees this afternoon. It's come down just a little bit, 97 now. 89 degrees our current temperature at the Sarasota-Braden Airport. The dew point is what's high. It's 73 degrees. We have to have a cold front to come through to bring this number down into the 60s, and that makes it feel a lot more comfortable. Don't see any cold fronts on the horizon right now, and no rainfall either to speak of around town. Things are really quite quiet, and that's a result of that westerly flow, which pushes everything well to the east of our immediate viewing area, although Highlands County getting some rainfall. And this trough of low pressure, it's not a cold front, it's just a line of low pressure, if you will. There's Scott Dennis. Hi, Scott. How are you? Green screen, yes, we'll throw it back here pretty soon, but the trough is right there, and it continues to slowly sink to the south. Now we'll go back to you guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. We now know the name of the man authorities say stabbed 9 people at a Minnesota mall. Federal law enforcement officers say 22-year-old Tahir Adan attacked people at the Crossroads Mall Saturday night. According to police and witnesses, Adan was wearing a private security company uniform when he walked into the mall. They say he made a reference to Allah and then asked at least one person if they were Muslim before he attacked. 9 people were stabbed. One victim had life-threatening injuries. Adan was shot and killed by an off-duty police officer. The FBI is calling the attack a potential act of terrorism. President Obama says the attack is not connected to the bombings in New York and New Jersey.
A battle over whether 911 calls from the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando will be made public may hinge on a technicality over how lawsuits are filed at the courthouse. The City of Orlando and media groups in court today for the first of 2 hearings. The media groups filed a lawsuit about 10 days after the June shooting, asking for the recordings to be released. Less than an hour later, the city filed a complaint against the recordings that they be declared exempt from public records law. The media groups want the city's lawsuit now dismissed. U.S. health officials are ending their strongest warning to pregnant women to stay out of Miami's Wynwood Arts District. Health officials say no new cases of mosquito-borne Zika illness have been reported in that area since early August, and in the past several weeks, mosquito control workers have seen only low numbers of the kind of bugs that are the main spreaders of the virus. Today, Governor Scott lifted the travel ban in that area, and he's now urging people to come back to the neighborhood.
People's livelihoods are tied to this. There are a lot of jobs tied to this. We've got to get everybody back to a position that they can have the same success they had before this happened.
Governor Scott also authorized an additional $10 million to combat the virus today as eradication efforts continue across that city. Still to come in your Suncoast News, Note 7 replacements, what Samsung is doing to make up for the battery fire problems with their phones.
Plus, getting back in shape after a serious injury, a top-notch rehabilitation program on the Suncoast. That is next in Health News.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Fit for $149 or a new Civic, just $169. And no down payment. It's clearance time now at GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
Get ready, college football fans. When you buy a $5 or more Fantasy 5 ticket and enter your team's drawing, you could win great prizes like team merchandise, tickets to your team's games, and other bowl game experiences. You could even win a championship weekend prize pack in Tampa or $10,000 cash. Fantasy 5 from the Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Welcome to the all-new Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice.
Seymour smiles.
Seymour quality selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
Seymour for your trade.
Seymour savings.
The 2017 Acadia Limited makes a strong first impression. Step up to GMC and get $3,000 in bonus cash on select 2017 GMC Acadia Limiteds.
Seymour now at Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice. Go to SeymourBuickGMC.com.
Come uncork your inner artist at Painting with a Twist. Bring your favorite bottle of wine and appetizers and enjoy an evening out with friends to celebrate any special occasion. It's perfect for a girls' night out, birthday parties, or a fun date night. Painting with a Twist offers 2 or 3 hour classes that are instructed by local artists, and there is no experience required. We now have 2 convenient locations in Sarasota and Bradenton. Visit our website to view our calendar and schedule your next party today.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Accord or CRV for $179 and no down payment. Your choice, just $179. It's clearance time now at GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
September 19th marks the first day of National Rehabilitation Awareness Celebration Week. It's also the 30th year anniversary for Health South, the only freestanding acute care rehab hospital in Sarasota and Manatee counties. ABC7's Alex Redmond joins us with what this means to the community. Alex.
Thanks, Haley. If you've ever been in a devastating car accident, suffered a stroke, or had a broken body part, you may know the challenges of trying to return to normal. Something as simple as standing can be a painstaking process, and that's where rehabilitation comes in.
1, 2, 3, cut.
What makes our community so neat and so special is that when people go down a list of, well, what is offered here? Healthcare is always one of the things that people look for, quality healthcare.
On this National Rehabilitation Awareness Celebration, Sarasota County Commissioner Charles Hines presents Health South with a recognition for long-term outstanding service in the community.
Having organizations like this that have been here for a long period of time is very important in people's choices.
More than 40,000 rehabilitation patients have been treated at Health South in Sarasota. 84-year-old Marianne Zebarth is one of them.
I had a fractured pelvis in 2 places on the left.
Zebarth says she knew she was in trouble.
No, the pain was quite severe right away. The minute I instantly tried to move and get up, it was unbearable.
After 2 weeks,
my physical therapist really understood where I was at all times. To me, it was even a miracle that I could take a few steps.
Health South's more than 300 employees include 62 therapists who work tirelessly with stroke, spinal cord injury, Parkinson's patients, and more. I have what looks like lederhosen on, but I'm actually on the pulleys, and my feet, if you look down here, are being elevated off the ground. Body weight is supported as feet contact the treadmill and first steps are taken.
A little more.
We're focused on function. We want them to get home. We want them to improve over time. We know that strength comes back.
Something Zebarth confirms with the caregiver's poem she wrote, From Gratitude.
With various expertise in many different fields, they comfort and guide me to goals as I heal.
Director of Therapy Matt Schaus says nothing is as satisfying to Health South employees than to hear of patients being able to shower alone, take a step, or reach for the shelf.
And Alex, you experienced a bad car accident, so how did rehab help you?
It helped me immensely. I can't even tell you, Haley, I actually couldn't even stand up straight. Multiple herniated discs from cervical, thoracic, lumbar, all the way down. And I don't believe that I would have been able to do it by myself. So 3 days a week, and it took me 2 years to be out of pain, but I was able to stand up after about 6-7 months.
Wow.
It was a trying time, but Thank goodness for people like rehabbers
Yeah,
and
they make a
therapists.
huge difference.
Huge
All right,
difference.
thank you, Alex. Now let's head over to Bob and take a look at our forecast.
Yeah, hot one today. Haley, temperatures soaring into the low 90s. A nice day for boating. Look at all the boats out there today with some pretty calm seas, too, with this westerly flow, at least at the surface, and the upper level clouds heading off in a different direction, actually heading out toward the west, while the lower clouds heading toward the east. And this line of low pressure, if you will, continues to extend from North Carolina through South Carolina, Georgia, the panhandle of Florida, all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this trough is not a cold front. Temperature's still very warm behind it. It's just a little line of wind change, and we can see some heavy storms in the central Florida. Interesting to note, this is the east coast breeze, the west coast breeze right there. The two are going to meet right there in the middle, and these storms are really going to have a tendency to explode here in the next hour or so as those two meet up. But nothing for us. Things are quiet here and should stay that way. We had a few brief showers around this morning, a little bit of rainfall, some thunder, actually as a result of the lightning that moved on through, but they weren't around all that long, and they didn't produce a whole lot of rainfall. 89 degrees, dew point 73, and the winds are out of the west. The pressure 29.93 inches, and that's falling slightly. There's the high, above average, 91. It was a hot one today, and this morning's low was unseasonably warm, upper 70s. We're going to see similar conditions again tomorrow morning, so coastal locations will be above average, especially inland areas should be pretty close to where it should be. And as far as temperatures go, we're going to see those highs stay into the low 90s for the most part, inland areas. Lows tonight, as I mentioned, a little bit cooler inland, 75 in Port Charlotte and 76 in Venice, Mayaca City at 73. Lakewood Ranch will go down to 74 this tomorrow morning, 78 Anna Maria, Longboat Key the same. Braden should be right around 77 to start the day off. So temperatures will stay pretty chilly out there. I should say inland areas a little cooler, I should say, much warmer near the coast. With high humidity will make it actually feel a little bit warmer to start the day off. And as far as that tropical system in the Gulf of Mexico is concerned, not doing much out there. In fact, this trough is kind of absorbing it, which is a good sign that we're not going to see development there. But a lot of times that troughs come down this time of year, you can look at the tail end and possibly see some tropical development down the road. So we'll keep an eye on that nonetheless. And as far as Carl is concerned, Bermuda has to look out for this one, but no other land area, it looks like, as it heads off toward the west-northwest and eventually turning more toward the northwest in time. And then it just rips off toward the northeast. So that's a good sign for the United States coastline. It will generate some surf, though, for the Carolina coast. And as far as the forecast paths and tracks go, they're all a good agreement with this, doing that bend once it gets to day 3 and heading off toward the open waters of the Atlantic. As far as the